welcome to another Viscera video. Today we're going to be doing some more of our beginner stuff. As somebody gives us sub. It's a beautiful thing. Please sub on YouTube or on Twitch. Looking to get more views out there. The only way to do that is to be sub to more people. So please drop a like and subscribe after this, if you please. If you don't like it, that's fine. But yeah, try to help out if you do. I'd like to be able to put some more videos out in the future. So today we're going to be going over some more beginner stuff. We're going to be talking about raids and wars somewhat today. Just kind of give you a little idea of kind of the things we're going to be doing. So the first thing, this is your raid screen. In order to get here on this main screen that you have in the game, you're just going to click on Alliance Raids and it's going to take you here. First thing, raid season rewards. So this is something that is kind of went by the wayside. We score so many points in raids that within 10 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes, we're able to do all of these raid milestones because they really don't give us much of anything. Some straight store credits, some purple and gold and whatever gear, teal, I think, and that's it. The ranking is even pretty shite. Gives you some gear 19, and then some gear, crimson gear orbs, and then of course these teal gear orbs. Again, shite. And that's for rank 1. If you're ranked down here, it gives you even less of the same orbs that are bad. But anyways, so all of you that are trying to get in the highest rankings awards so you can get more season ranking, for what? There's really nothing to do it for. Get into an alliance that lets you do things on your own pace, lets you get into a spotlight raid, into annihilation raids, and that's really just where you need to be. You don't need to do the special omega raids for annihilation unless you're 100%ing difficulty 9 or 10 every day. You're actually losing out on gear and losing out on orbs if you're doing these things. So, but we'll get into that later. So these raids are called Spotlight and Annihilation. If you're just starting off, you're probably going to be doing Greek raids. They look like these. You could probably start off right off the bat doing Greek 2. I know it says level 50 to 60, but you really don't need to be that high. If you have newer tunes, they give you like the tokens and stuff like that for Alpha Flight and whatnot right off the bat pretty much. If you have those, you can level them up to where you need to be like probably level 45 and be able to get through some of these nodes. So you're going to enter here. It's going to look like this. You're probably going to have lines here because you're going to be playing on an emulator or on a phone or on the web that actually gives you the lines for these. But what these are going to be is you're going to have an outside lane that kind of goes up this way. You're going to teeter-tot back and forth like this as you go up the outside. The mid lane is the same kind of thing. You're going to go to this A here in the middle, and you're going to teeter-tot back and forth, basically going between the graviton and then this E4 and then D4 and then D5 as you go up the middle of this, okay? And then the outside is going to be this one. This is going to be city as you get up later on. The middle one's going to be global. The left side is going to be cosmic. The right side is going to be city as you go. And you're just going to trace along the outside here, doing this lane all the way up till you get to the end. Then you're going to box to the outside, to the middle, the very top. Now, a lot of alliances want to wait until the last couple hours of raids before they finish the final boss, so that way other people can pump into those raids. Because you can, if you go into a raid, you go to start, and then when you start the raid, you actually exit the raid node. You lose, don't retreat, but lose, and then exit out of it. It counts as a war attack. You get the credits for the war attack. You don't do any damage. You're able to repeat that process if you have extra energy in order to get milestones and things like that for events. So this is Greek 1, 2, 3, and 4. Greek 3 and 4 have difficulties as you go through. You can go all the way up to difficulty 5. For Greek 4, you can go all the way to difficulty 3. So that is, those are your Greek raids. Those are pretty simple. As you start off, it says the levels down here, and those are pretty right. Once you get to 75, level 75, and don't think these as player levels. Think of these as your team levels, your raid team levels. When you get to level 75 with your raid teams, you're going to want to do spotlight raids. Spotlight raids are going to get you more resources. These are going to be good for starters, but once you get there, you want to get more resources, and that's where spotlight comes into play. So they have multiple difficulties as well, normal difficulty 1 and 2. Do not, and let me repeat, do not have your alliance do the strike raids. They do not give you good resources. Do the regular spotlight raids. So anyways, we're going to go into those. I'll show you what those look like. So I'm pretty much at the end. So it's the same kind of thing. You're going to have lanes, right? There's a left side here with 3 lanes. There's a right side of 3 lanes. So somebody's going to share on either side, or if your alliance does it differently, maybe the sharing is over here between 5 people, and then these 3 people have solo lanes on this side. Whatever your thing is, that's fine. But you're going to go up. You're going to have a shared boss here in the middle. This is where that salty is. And then you're going to go up again, and you're going to have a shared boss at the end. And again, a lot of alliances don't clear it until the last couple hours, just because that way people can farm that node like he has. So he's went into this node. He has done... You can see how much damage they've done sometimes. I'm not in the strike. I am in the strike team. Interesting. So he's done some damage to the node, and he's exited out, and so it counts as actually doing an attack, but doesn't count against anything. It doesn't do any damage, take out people, stuff like that, and you're able to get milestones and things. So that's your spotlight raid. This is going to get you your crimson gear. That's going to get you some ability mats. This is going to get you some gold and some armory 19 and stuff like that. But the big thing is per node, and it's per node. These rewards are going to be there. Oh, let's go to this final node. It'll show. So you're going to have these T4s, T3s, T2s, T1s, right? Some gold, and then, of course, whatever the MacGuffin is right now for their special store. Right now it's Terror. You're going to get some of those credits, whatever event's going on. But it's basically for these here, these ability mats. These are hard to come by. So you're going to want to get those, and those are easy to get here. And then also you're going to get that crimson gear from the raid itself. So that's important for that. Annihilation. Now, this is what everybody's going to be doing. You get to pick your own difficulty as you go up. I was a good boy, as you can see, and I finished my lane right off the bat. But anyway, so we're going to go down here and we're going to look. So you can go to these, right? As you go up these nodes, you can look at other ones. You can select the difficulty. So the difficulty is going to be basically when you're starting off, you're going to want to do normal to difficulty 1, right? As you get to like level probably 50, 65, somewhere in there, you can probably do difficulty 2, 65, 70, difficulty 3, 75, 80, difficulty 4, 85, 90, probably difficulty 5, 6, and maybe even 7 at that point in time with some of the teams. And then 95 to 100, you're going to be difficulty 8, and then 100 plus, you're going to be doing difficulty 9. That's kind of where you're wanting to be with your teams. Kind of play them out at first, and then try to sim and see if you get through it. So these are going to be, and the way these work is these are going to be specific teams. So if I'm here, right, and I pick difficulty 1, you're going to see that it says any 5 characters up here now to the right, right? Character level 20, gear tier 4, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now as I go to difficulty 7, it's going to be 5 skill, right? And that's anywhere, I think from 4 to 7 is going to be 5 skill. And then when you go to 8, it now becomes a specific team. So that's for each one of these nodes. Now, you'll notice as you go up, see how these are all red, 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 and all of a sudden these are purple? There's a reason for those. So these ones are specific tunes. They're the hot tunes of the moment, the new raid teams that they've put out for you to spend your hard-earned money on to be able to collect. And the tunes right now they have for those is Hellfire Club. So as you get them leveled up, you can play these nodes with them. However, they give you enough energy in a day to be able to do exactly the amount of nodes that they have here. Okay? So if you're one of those people that aren't on constantly, the chances of you not being able to make that energy through the day is very high. So these nodes, these two purple nodes here, you can skip. So you can do this node here, which is Mystic, and then it's going to be Immortals or Night Stalkers. You can do this node here, and then you can skip to the end. So the end boss lets you do anybody, and you can do it in difficulty 9. Woo, flies. You can do it at difficulty 9 with any characters you have. Now, my recommendation for this is going to be using Thunderbolts, or it's going to be using Night Stalkers with Null, or it's going to be using somebody like Insidious because they're the newer team and they have a lot of power built into them even at low levels. You can do difficulty 9 with like 4 million Night Stalkers with Null, and they can slaughter difficulty 9. Now, you can add other mythic characters like Odin, Mephisto, stuff like that to make it way easier, but with Null and Night Stalkers at 4 million, you can clear the final difficulty 9 boss. And it gets you a lot more points, right? You're going to get a lot more of the season points, which the 12 million, right, for your team. You're going to get a lot more of the orbs, right? We're going to have here the Armory 20s. We're going to have the 19s, which you're not going to need right off the bat. So don't worry about those too much. Even as you're doing this, like if you're in Spotlight, if you're not at level 100, don't even think about red orbs, honestly. Just have fun with the game. Don't worry about that struggle. I unlock Blue Marvel. I hardly ever use him. Okay, he's already a tune that's like not crazy good. The better tunes in the game, honestly, I think Null is one of the best tunes in the game. So much fun to use. For War, Undying is amazing, and they're pretty easy to get as long as you're daily in that web store and stuff like that. Getting the newer tunes is kind of hard with Scarlet and Zestral, but they'll come back around. And then like teams like Omen, which just came out, super fun to use, super fun team. Brimstone, just basically building Damon, and the rest is a support cast. But Damon, as high as you can go, that dude just blasts other teams. So you don't really have to worry about the Crimson so much. Just having a nice balanced team and playing stuff that actually works for the modes that you're in is probably the best way to go with that. But if you're one of those that want to be sweaty, difficulty 9 is going to get most bang for the buck. You're going to have to build the tunes to get there, and you're going to want to use them. So there is ways, and especially like the way that we do our war offense and defense, we really focus on raid characters and where they fit best and how they best work in raids or in war for defense and offense. So we get to use them in multiple modes. Now, Crucible, I don't care about Crucible. I don't worry about Crucible. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a fan of it. But there are some people that are able to fit stuff. Nah, you can't fit raid teams in a Crucible. I lie. It's not something you can do. They change the rules so much and so often in Crucible that it's really hard to be able to have a set team. It's really every few weeks, maybe every month, you're really having to change out all the teams that you use in Crucible constantly. War has a little bit more of a shelf life. Teams last a little bit longer there. That's why I enjoy it so much. But anyway, so yeah, so that's your Annihilation raid. I know it says, sorry about that. I know it says Annihilation Raid 2, but there is not an Annihilation Raid 1. There is just Annihilation Raid, and then there's Annihilation Raid Omega. And so what the Omega does is makes it so you're punished for your whole team not being able to complete 100%. So your team picks the difficulty. So say your team, thank you again for the sub, whoever's subbing now, you know who you are. So your whole team is picking a difficulty. So say they pick difficulty 7. You don't have the freedom now to be able to choose what you're doing difficulty wise. You can go 7 or higher. You can't go any lower. So please don't set Omega Raid Annihilations, because all it does is hurt the players in your alliance that don't have those raid teams built. And again, if you're not doing difficulty 9 or 10 at 100%, you're missing out on resources that you could be doing at difficulty 7, 8, and 9 on your own and making every raid. So, and there's really not a bonus for the war season things, which is they give more war season rewards or more season points for you to be able to earn those rewards, but the rewards suck. So, anyways, so that is raid. The other thing you might have to do, like if they make you a captain or they make you a leader, here is how you set those things. So you're going to go, I want auto launch to be on. I want to set the time at this time, and it's your local time, not somebody else's. So my local time of when it's going to start is 3:15 p.m. The Annihilation Raid, you're going to be able to choose which one you want. You're going to set that. Spotlight Raid, you're going to be able to choose either the Greeks or the Spotlight. So you're going to choose that. And then when you're all done and you go to click, it's going to say, do you want to save? Yes, I'm going to save. If you've made any kind of changes at all, you'll do that, and then it'll be set, ready to go. You can also quickly get to the raid store from here to be able to go in and get your prizes or whatever you want to buy. It says raid, but it's just taking you to the store, okay? So you're going to be able to do your daily shopping from there, all right? So that is raid altogether, and we're at the store. That's where I wanted to be. That's why I had this one here. That's kind of funny. But anyways, so we're where we want to be. We've done all the stuff there for raids. If you have any questions, you can see that I have my YouTube there, but I also have my Discord. Feel free to hit me up. I'm always there to help. I try to get people into our alliances. We have 15 different alliances and a lot of starter alliances. We try to move people up through ours and get them to stay with us. We've had players that have been with us for 6, 7 years already, since the beginning, you know. So we have a lot of players that have been with us for 3, 4 years. That's probably the majority of the players we have, because when I started this thing out, we had the one alliance, then we opened the second one, and then I think it was 2 years later, finally we did the third one. So that's when a lot of people started coming around. So yeah, and now we have 15. So it exponentially got that much more popular after that. So now we're going to go into my favorite aspect of this whole game, war. War is a beautiful thing. So as you go to the screen, to your main hub here, you're going to see Alliance War. So right now we're doing Shadow War. When you click on that button, it's going to bring you to this little menu here. We're kind of going to go through this. So I have a red dot sitting here at the top. We're going to go top to bottom, kind of show you what we're doing. League info here. This is what this is. This is trophies that your alliance has. Trophies are when you win or lose a war, you earn trophies. Trophies is what ranks you up in leagues, so you can earn more resources per win, loss, and stuff like that. So these are the different leagues. Right now, yeah, this is our top alliance. We're in Platinum 3. We went against some crazy spenders. 10 wars in a row. Got our butts handed to us with new meta and this tune. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's called Nihilus. Pretty gross stuff. Our alliance doesn't spend. So we're pretty much free to play. Some light spending, but we're not like heavy spenders. So we use our brains, not our wallets, to be able to win. And we've now won 6 in a row after losing 7 of 10. So we're about ready. We're 9 points away from promoting back up to 4. But yeah, that's about where we float. Right there, from 1800 to 1950 trophies is about where we float. And what that gets us is Platinum 3 and 4, which, as you can see, it's only 100,000 K difference as far as that stuff. It's only blue ISO, which you're going to need to start off with, but right now I'm swimming in it. Like if I click on this, it's got a crazy amount, right? 800 million. So, you know, you're going to have these things and these things. I got 75 million of that, like this crazy amount. So it's not really a necessity, but it is nice to get more season points. And I'll show you what those are later. And then million, and then as you go up to diamond, now you're talking 2 million per win. And you're even getting 1 million per loss, right? We're getting 1 million win, 500K loss, and 50K difference as far as losses, right? So, so that's the league info, but not necessarily what you're worried about as far as seasons. So seasons and stuff. This is the store. It's going to take you back to the war stores, what I call it. I don't know what it's called actually now where there is, but that's where you can buy war credits. And we'll go over, actually, well, let's do it now. So you're going to click on store. It's going to take you to these stores, right? So this little one with the green on the top, the special items, I call the war store. So when you're in war, this is the one you're going to want to use to be able to refresh your war attacks, okay? So you're going to click on these. This is going to cost the strike legacy credits, whatever they're called now. And then what you're going to do, so there's two places to buy war refreshes, right? So there's there, and then there's also in this store here. So these ones cost 25 for 25 power cores. These ones here are first store credits, and then you can refresh the store for 50, right? And get 75 war credits or war energy. Okay, so 50 for 75 plus the one for free basically because you're using the legacy credits, or 25 power cores for 25 war credits. You tell me which one's the better deal. So you can refresh this twice, and then it goes to 100, and then 100 becomes the worst deal, right? And you might as well go back to the other one if you really need it. But you refresh that store twice, plus the freebie, and you can get that way 225 of the war credits for 100 power cores and some strike credits. So that's where that is. And then we're going to go back to war now. So that's just an easy way to get to that shop. So leaderboard. So this is the important part. This is where you're actually getting paid out. Okay. This is also going to show the war season. So your war season is going to end in 9 days and 13 hours from when this video was put up. And then you're going to go into how scoring works, which is here, right? You get alliance points. And then you can find me, right? So this is going to tell you where your alliance is in relativity to everyone else. So we're 66 right now. We have some also, we have a team up here at 15 right there, times Jotunheimer, and they are little guys. If you look at these guys up here above, 565, crazy TCP, right? 560 million TCP for a team, and they're all like that. And look at my little guys. They've been learning from us and been doing what they need to do, and they work well as a team. We're going 268 million TCP all the way down to less than 100, and they're kicking some ass, right? Good job to you guys. Just want to give you a little shout out. But we're in 66 because, like I said, we played some of those whales at the very, very top. And that's kind of, where we're going to sit. We're going to sit right in there to about 100, probably bounce back and forth in there. But yeah, so where you get the payout from that is your ranking. Now this, at the end of the 2 weeks, this is what you're playing for. These points are calculated way differently. So these leaderboard points are by the amount of damage that you're doing in war actually go into these season points. They filter at the end of each war. Those points they're put down by a percentage, and they use where you are, and you get a bonus for whatever league you're in, and it calculates your things, and it gives you a percentage base of what the opponent's TCP was if you beat them onto your score, blah, 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 blah. Those numbers go together, and this is how you get paid out at the end. And these rankings are way more important than what raid ever has been. This is your 3.5 level ions. This is your 3.4 level ions. This is your ISO credits for the T3s. That's your third tier, your purple ions. It's shit ton of gold, and then of course the newest character in the game is also there. So very important stuff to be getting is from war ranking, and this is why I love this so much. So anyway, so that's war season. Participation. This is at the end of the war, right? We played against a team that was all offense, no defense. We shit on them. It was awesome. But of course, we don't get a lot of damage, right? You can see our damage points are down. Everybody's in the billions, usually. We only had one person in the billions this time. So this is your attack points. That's how many you scored out of the number of attacks you had. And then you have your damage points. That's calculated basically on the damage of the opponent with a multiplier by the damage that you are. Your defensive victories, that's how many times your teams in your rooms won a match, either by combat cancel or by them losing to the team. And then boost, how many times you have boosted a defense on your team's side. That's what those are for. Okay, so yeah, that's participation. War prep is just a way to buy those things for 25 for 25. So if you do these, right, and you hit the war prep, this is going to cost you 1-for-1 on buying war energy, 1-for-1 core. That's that. Remember, I told you before the store is cheaper to do it the other way. So this is your wartime. When to set up. We are Monday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. Up here's your last results. That just shows you the war victory screen from the last war you're active in. And then now we're going to go to set defense. So this is what your war looks like when you go in. Yep, blank screen, pretty much. No, it'll load in here soon. It just takes a little while because, it's faster. Anyways, so this is your war screen. These are your rooms. These are the way the points are set up and so on and so forth. So right now, the rooms that you kind of want to ignore full clearing, if you are a team that's going to full clear, if you're a beginner, you're probably not full clearing right now, is going to be armory and hangar. Where you're going to hit first, every war is the flight decks 1, 2, and 3. They get no additional bonuses except for who's underneath it. So we have engineering and security underneath it just to give them a boost right off the bat. So you get defense up from engineering. You get defense down on their squads from security. So if they decide to go middle, they get both defense up on our team and defense down on their team when they go to try to hit our med bay. So each one of these rooms have their own little buffs. As you can see, cargo bay with this setup has the most buffs, having 10 different buffs from where they're located at. And then you have your big point room is bridge and cargo bay. Those are usually where you're going to want your heftier players to be sitting or your better defenses. You want your weaker defenses probably to be in armory and hangar right now because you want them to be like, oh yeah, let's take these rooms out. And if they do, they're going to lose bonuses on their teams. So Undying, Liberty, Winter Guard have bonuses related to armory and hangar, staying up on the opponent's side. If it goes down, then your teams actually lose a percentage based on what it is. So you want to leave their armory and hangar up until the end so that you don't lose points on your team. This is something that a certain CC thought of when he decided to help out making this war season. He thought it was a great thing to make it so that, hey, let's make it some kind of, strategy that if you take out the wrong room, it actually hurts you. So that's what we got stuck with. But anyways, it's a thing to worry about. So armor and hangar, leave them to the last. Don't full clear them until the end. You can probably full clear armory first because it doesn't impact teams that's as important per room as hangar does. And what I would kind of do if you're one of those teams that's gonna, be really like finicky towards the end, what you do is open all but the last 4 teams, right? Whatever ones are easy to take out with pretty much any team that you have, and see the last 4 teams in each of those rooms, and then decide which ones you don't need the buffs on, and then take out the room that's going to help you the most at the end with those. And that's going to be up to your war captain. But cargo bay, bridge, those are the big point rooms. After that, it's going to be barracks. After that's engineering and security. Oh, and med bays with barracks is all the 25. And then engineering and security are the other buff rooms. You get 20. Hangar is only a 15. So is armory. And then reactor is a 10, just like the flight decks. Reactor is a bitch with the debuffs because they do the disrupted. Disrupted changes things like taunt on spawn, speed up on spawn, stuff like that. It used to wreck Weapon X back in the day. It messes with a few teams right now, but that's a strategy thing that I want to leave for our war captains to know. But anyways, yes. So this is what it looks like. So a couple of things you can do. So say you are a war leader, right? You want to change some things, or you're new to the guild and you got made a captain and he's like, hey, I want you to fix and make it so that all of our teams are full in bridge, armory, and hangar, and let's move the empty ones to the flight deck. So how you do that is you're going to go like here, right? I'm going to say, Joe, I'm going to manage you. I'm going to move you, right? And I'm going to move you to this room here. I'm going to say flight deck 3, right? And so we're going to move you. We're going to swap you with anal finish, right? So we're going to swap you by moving those players. And then those two players now switch places. So Joe is there and our Finland brother is there. Okay? So that's a pretty easy way to do that. Now, if you want to say, like, I want to move security and medbay, this is the whole thing. You can't move the flight decks down, they stay where they are, but everything else is movable. So as you can see, they just blank out. So I'm going to take security and I'm going to swap it with medbay. Pretty simple. Move rooms. I'm going to take medbay. Now I'm going to swap it with security, right? Now say I want to move security down to this bottom corner. I'm going to move rooms. I'm going to take security. I'm going to swap it with armory, right? Pretty simple. Move rooms. I'm going to take armory. I'm going to swap it with security. There you go. That's how you do it. It's that simple. Those kinds of things are really cool. Now, a couple of things also I want you to remember with war. The teams that you place on defense, you cannot use on offense. The tunes that you have on defense, you cannot use on offense. So the majority of alliances are going to want you to go offense first because you want to make sure you have between 10 and 14 attacks. The max attacks you can do is 14, and that's with buying them through the war store and what I showed you. And then everybody's going to pretty much want you to put in 10 attacks. Those are the free attacks that you get. So when starting off, you're going to want to use save squads, which is in the video before. Go and check it out. It's a player's guide beginner. So you can make your save squads to save 10 war offense teams. And then the teams you have left over after you've done those, which if you're in one of my alliances, I kind of give you a strat of who I want to put on defense. Or put as your offensive teams, and then on defense is what's basically the leftover. And again, we use a lot of raid teams. But yeah, after you've set your 10 to 14 offense teams, then you're going to set your defenses up, right? So the way I would do it, starting off, once you get to where you have 70 tunes, that's your offense. Don't worry about defense at all. But once you get past 70 tunes and you start unlocking like 80, 100, 120, 150, 200 tunes, put them up on defense. And all you really got to do is when you put them on defense, just make sure they're bigger than the default teams. So the shield teams that you have as a default are going to be somewhere from 12,000 power to 17,000 power, I think is the most you can have them on there. Maybe 18 now with these different buffs. But so you're just going to want to look and like go into that room and be like, oh, that character that I have there is 2,000 power. So I'm going to get this character from my roster that when I put him there, he is actually 4,000 power. There you go. I've upped it. Right. And you're just going to do that a few times until you start to get into a place where you actually can do strategy and you have cohesive units. They're going to be defensive squads. Then you can put them in. Now, managing placement and stuff like that does make a difference. And I am going to make a video on defenses that we want set up and how to do those things. Just got to have time. This one's coming first because this is a beginner's perspective. But once we get to that point where we can make those ones, we're going to start making those as well. But for right now, just whatever you have, don't just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look for synergetic type things. Like if they're all, shield members, they go with the shield team and they're all around the Maria Hill or Cap Sam or whoever you unlocked, right? Put on those teams that match. Coulson, stuff like that. Thing, Mockingbird, whatever. Put on those teams with shield. Like if you want all symbiotes are the new thing, and they're not well upgraded, but you want to put them somewhere and you're not using them on offense because they're not that high, but they are as high as a shield team, then group all your symbiotes together and throw them on there. It's a lot of fun to kind of go through that stuff, but there's a lot of work when you start to get to alliances. Excuse me, one more. When you start to get to alliances that are war competitive or coordinated or whatever they want to call themselves, because there's a lot of strategy that goes into those type of things. And I know myself, I put a lot of work into war, offenses and defenses to make it so that it's easy. And I have war counter sheets for all of our players to be able to use so they can just have a quick reference. Hey, I have this team. Who does it go well against? Oh, it beats all these people. Okay, so I can see in engineering, I have a alpha flight of 4 million. Okay, I can punch down on it with this team. Cool, I'm going to do that. Easy peasy, right? Way to go. So you want to be with somebody that's going to be able to give you those tools to make it quick for you to be able to play the game. So you're not spending 2 hours making 10 attacks trying to figure out what's best. It's just a go, click, know what it is. And then you're going to learn these things and you'll be able to get better at it. And practice makes perfect. And while we're talking about practice, this is another beautiful thing about this. So with this, the way it is, if you see at the bottom here, this says practice. So I can see, okay, he's got one at 6 million. I'm going to go over here to this guy's shadows. And oh, look, he's got one that's 7.6. This is more my speed. I'm going to go into this one. I'm going to click on my teams. We're going to go through my war teams. Okay, I want to see how this team does against this one so that I can know what kind of a punch up it gets. Now, you're not going to get the exact, if you notice, their opponent's score went down to 7.2 from where it was before. At like 7.6, I think is what it was, right? Yeah, 7.6 to 6.2. So the reason for that is when you go into this here and when you're actually fighting them, they don't have all the room buffs from all the ones around, from the level tiers where they are, because the second row gets a boost and the third row gets a bigger boost and the fourth row gets a bigger boost, right? So they don't have all those different buffs. It's just what the team is, bare whatever minimum, whatever they put into them. This is what it is. If you were to look at his roster, this is how big that team is. So you got to keep that in mind too, that it's not that front number, it's this number. They still get all the war abilities and things like that. They just don't get the buffs from the rooms. That's it. So like the percentage, primary stats increased, blah, blah, blah. So you're fighting this team right here. So I know like, okay, I can one shot a 1.8 Thanos, right, with my Daemon. That's what I'm looking at with this one, right? Can I one shot this 1.8 with my Daemon? That's what I'm comparing. I'm going to remember that number 1.8, right, to be able to kill when I get into an actual war, not looking at this one and going into this team right here and being like, oh, I one shot this 2.3 Thanos. No, you didn't. You one shot a 1.8 because this isn't the actual numbers that you're fighting. It's once you go into the war. So keep that in mind when you do those things in practice. But other than that, this practice is a beautiful thing because you can actually have people be like, I can message Time and I can be like, hey, Time, can you put, team A, team B, team C in 1, 2, and 3 so I can go give them a practice. He can throw those up when it's not a wartime, when it's not matchmaking, and you can do that. And then you got to make sure to let him know when you're done so he can pull them back down and put the other ones back in. And so that way, when it comes to a live war, that you're not, out of sorts. So those kind of things are really cool. I really love the practice aspect of it. You can't do that in Crucible because then the whales would cry, and we don't want them crying because they're the one that pay the bills, right? You don't want to piss off your landlords. You don't want to piss off your parents, right? Because they're the ones paying the bills. They're the one putting a roof over your head. So let's not let them cry. Let's go ahead and let them have their things so they can keep their strategies to themselves. But in war, since it's a whole 24 people and it's not just one-on-one and we're not going against somebody's wallet, we're going against somebody's team synergy, we can have a little thing called practice, which is really nice and it's really enjoyable. So yeah, those are the ins and outs of war. If you have any questions, like I said before, reach out to me on YouTube, reach out to me on Discord, let me know what it is. Always here to answer questions. And if you need a home, let me know because we got a lot of alliances. We got 15 and I'm wanting to add more. I'm wanting to get more people because I do want to help. I'm not getting, sponsored as an envoy. As you can see, I'm a non-envoy. So I want to help out the people in our family of alliances. So if you're one of ours, I will help you out. If you're not, it's not really what I'm being sponsored to do. But yeah, if you need a home and you want to come in, more than welcome to. We have some spots open, and like I say, we're also welcoming new alliances. If you'd like to be part of our family of alliances, please let me know. We can get you in. The only thing that I really care about that is we're gonna change your name to be a Titans of something, okay? Because we are the Titans of Yggdrasil together, and together we are a family, and we try to represent everything that is good about this game, and everything is good about, not like spending a shit ton of money, and just having fun and being part of a community that wants to get along and wants to help each other out and make each other better. So if you too want to be a part of that and you want to have a good time, come hit me up. We're always joking around and making fun of each other, especially this guy named Samjus. He's usually the brunt of most of our jokes. So, anyways, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe on this video. It helps me out a lot. And again, if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm always around to answer. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Viz. Tell it like it is. Peace.